Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. This time we're going way back, exploring an ancient text and how it's surprisingly relevant to us today.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we're going to be looking at the book of Deuteronomy,
Oh,
specifically chapter 13.
it's fascinating how these ancient writings can still speak to us.
I know.
It's like peeking through a window into the past.
Yeah.
You get to see how people grappled with challenges that are still so relevant to our lives.
Exactly. It's like they were dealing with fake news and societal pressures way back then.
Oh, for sure.
So for our listeners who might not be super familiar with Deuteronomy, can you give us a little bit of context for chapter 13?
Absolutely. Deuteronomy is part of the Torah,
Right.
the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible.
Okay.
Chapter 13 specifically, it addresses the dangers of straying from the path of God as understood by the Israelites at the time.
So it's like a guide to navigating a world full of distractions and temptations.
Exactly.
Oh, that's good.
And the challenges they were facing were pretty intense.
Yeah, wait.
The chapter talks about the very real threat of idolatry,
I can imagine.
which is a huge deal back then.
Right. But how does that translate to us today?
That's a great question.
We're not exactly building golden calves, you know?
True, but think about it this way.
Okay.
The core issue is about staying true to your values,
Okay.
even when faced with really compelling alternatives.
Right.
Back then, it was other gods and idols. Today, those idols could be anything that pulls us away from our core principles. Maybe it's a trendy ideology,
Yeah.
a charismatic leader, or even just the desire to fit in and be accepted.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So it's not about the literal act of idolatry, but the underlying principle
Right.
of discerning what's truly important and not being swayed by, distractions.
You got it.
Okay, good.
Deuteronomy 13 uses some pretty strong language,
I bet.
even talking about severe consequences for those who strayed from the path.
Wow.
Now, obviously, we're not advocating for those kinds of punishments today, but it highlights how seriously they took the idea of staying true to their beliefs
Yeah.
and the potential consequences of, straying from that.
So it's kind of like a cautionary tale,
Yeah,
reminding us that our choices have consequences,
for sure.
even if they're not as dramatic as what's described in the text.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that our beliefs shape our actions,
Uh-huh.
and those actions have ripple effects on our lives and the lives of those around us.
Yeah, this is already getting my wheels turning.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see how these ancient ideas can actually be quite relevant to the dilemmas that we face, in the modern world.
Yeah, and we've only just scratched the surface. There's so much more to uncover in this chapter.
Okay, well, buckle up, listeners.
Yeah,
We're about to go even deeper into the wisdom of Deuteronomy 13
absolutely.
and explore how these ancient principles can guide us in navigating the complexities of modern life.
Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone. We're continuing our deep dive into Deuteronomy 13, exploring how this ancient text can still speak to us today.
Yeah, I'm ready to go deeper.
Yeah.
We were just talking about how the chapter warns against straying from one's beliefs, even using idolatry as an example. But what I think is so fascinating is how that translates to the challenges that we face today.
Right. It really is all about discernment, isn't it?
Yeah.
In a world that's just saturated with information, it's more crucial than ever to be able to sift through the noise.
That's right.
And figure out, what truly aligns with our values.
Yeah, that's so true. It's like we're constantly bombarded with messages telling us what to believe, what to buy, even who to be.
Exactly. And that's where that idea of false prophets from Deuteronomy 13 becomes so relevant.
Oh, okay.
We might not have prophets in the literal sense today,
Right.
but we certainly have influencers, thought leaders,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
even algorithms shaping our perceptions and beliefs.
That's true. So it's about recognizing those influences and really critically evaluating their messages.
Absolutely. It's about asking ourselves who is speaking.
Mm.
What are their motivations?
Yeah.
And does their message really resonate with my own sense of truth and ethics?
It's like being a detective of your own belief system.
Yeah,
You have to gather the evidence and weigh the different perspectives and then ultimately trust your gut.
that's a great way to put it.
I like that.
Deuteronomy 13 also talks about the pressure to conform,
Okay.
even when it's coming from loved ones.
Oh, wow.
It actually cautions against following family members
Oh, really?
who might entice you to stray from your beliefs.
That's interesting. So it's acknowledging that sometimes staying true to your values might mean making really difficult choices,
Right.
even if it means going against the grain or disappointing people you care about.
Exactly. It's a delicate balance, of course. We
What?
want to respect the beliefs of others,
Yeah.
but we also have a responsibility to ourselves
Uh-huh.
to uphold the principles that guide our lives.
That's about choosing integrity over convenience, even when it's hard.
Absolutely. And that idea of
Am I
accountability
down?
extends beyond just the individual. Deuteronomy 13 emphasizes the importance of community responsibility as well.
Right, I remember that part.
Mhm.
It talks about entire communities facing consequences for straying from the path.
Yeah.
But how do we apply that concept in a modern context?
Well, it's about recognizing that we're all interconnected.
Okay.
Our actions contribute to this larger social fabric.
Yeah.
We have a responsibility to speak out against injustice, to
Mhm.
challenge harmful norms, and to work together to create a more just and ethical world.
So it's not just about personal accountability, but also about holding each other accountable for creating a society that reflects our shared values.
Precisely. And that requires courage, compassion, and a willingness to engage in difficult conversations.
It's true.
It's not always easy, but it's essential for building a world that we can all be proud of.
This conversation has been so insightful. It's amazing how this ancient text like Deuteronomy 13 can offer such relevant guidance for navigating the challenges of modern life.
And there's still one more crucial aspect that we need to explore. Deuteronomy 13 also hints at a deeper truth about the role of challenges in shaping our character and beliefs.
Ooh, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Stay tuned, listeners. We'll be right back to uncover that final layer of wisdom hidden within Deuteronomy 13.
We're back and ready for that final layer of wisdom like you mentioned. We talked about discernment, staying true to our values, and even community accountability, all super relevant to our lives today. But what's this about challenges shaping our character?
Well, you know how Deuteronomy 13 frames these encounters with false prophets and all these temptations as tests?
Yeah.
It's not just about avoiding those things. It's about what you learn from going through that process.
So it's like saying that challenges, even the difficult ones, can actually help us grow.
Exactly. You can view those as opportunities instead of setbacks
Okay.
to refine your beliefs, to strengthen your resolve, and become more resilient.
It's like what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Right.
But how do we apply that to our everyday lives?
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the negative aspects of a challenge and kind of lose sight of the potential for growth.
It's all about shifting your perspective. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? How can I use this to become better, wiser, more compassionate?
So it's about finding the meaning in the struggle
Exactly.
and the lesson.
Think about a time that you faced a decision that tested your values.
Okay.
Maybe you had to stand up for something you believed in even when it was unpopular, or perhaps you had to walk away from something that seemed really tempting, but ultimately wasn't aligned with your principles.
I've definitely had moments like that.
Yeah.
It's never easy in the moment, but looking back, I can see how those tough choices actually helped me figure out what was really important to me.
Yeah, that's the power of going through challenges.
Wow.
They force us to confront our beliefs, to make those hard decisions, and ultimately we come out stronger and more sure of ourselves on the other side.
It's like those challenges were actually essential stepping stones,
Yeah.
on my path.
Deuteronomy 13 might seem like this ancient text about very specific issues.
Yeah.
But the messages are timeless.
Yeah.
Discernment, integrity, community responsibility, and even this transformative power of challenges.
That's true.
These are principles that can guide us toward living more meaningful and fulfilling lives today.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive. I think the key takeaway for me is that our choices really matter.
Absolutely.
Whether we're talking about what we believe, how we act, or how we engage with our communities, our choices really do shape the world around us.
That's powerful. It reminds us that we all have agency.
Yeah.
And we can choose to align our actions with our values.
Yes.
And make a positive impact on the world, even in small ways.
So to our amazing listeners out there, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep making choices that reflect the best versions of yourselves.
Could have said it better myself.
We'll be back next week with another fascinating deep dive. Until then, stay curious.